Well, hello, Andy. So good to see you. I would love it if you could please introduce yourself and let us know what you do.
Yeah, sure. My name is Andy. I've been in the retail business since 2018, and I've been a retail manager since 2021. Before retail, I was into the tech world. I was a programmer. I was a video editor, and yeah.
Nice. And how did you find me and why were you looking for someone like me?
So I found you just through Google because I was looking for somebody specifically that's in Canada and also understands the retail world. And just checking your LinkedIn and looking through it, you know, you were the right fit for that based off the experiences that you had and everything. And the reason why I started to look for support was because my retail journey, I've been always with one company, but it was time for me to look for a change. And in order for that to happen, I pretty much never had a resume ready. I didn't even have a LinkedIn. Uh, so for me to be able to have all of those things ready, and plus to kind of like warm myself back into you know, looking for a job and all of that because I pretty much never done that since 2018. So that's why I started to look around and so glad that I found you.
Oh, yes. I remember when we first met, I thought, okay, you have a lot of potential, but I could see that there was some work to be done to
Yes,
basically market your potential for that
yes.
open market, right? I remember on LinkedIn, I mean, we pretty much built it from scratch, didn't we?
Yeah, I think I had two people when it comes to my network, just two.
Two
So,
connections. So
yeah,
yes, pretty
right.
much from
So,
scratch. Yes.
yeah.
Can you walk us through a little bit more of like what we did together, right? What were some of the changes, some of the things that we
Yeah,
worked on that help you to be
sure.
successful? And of course, we'll get into, the actual results in a moment as well.
First things first, I remember when we had the first session, we talked about my goals, the companies that I'm aiming for, and the positions that I was looking to get. Once we managed to assess all of that, and the next step was my resume. I already had a resume that I guess I used to think it's a good resume until we polished the resume that I have right now and we worked at it and we pretty much did it from scratch. It was more than a polish. We used some of the like wordings and stuff that we had from my previous resume, but we worded them better. We made them look more attractive and even the format of what should go where, all of those things we worked at. That was like the biggest thing. And then the next step was LinkedIn because LinkedIn for me was such a new world. I didn't even have any idea of what's needed for my LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn is just purely solely you. I didn't even get involved with that. I remember um, you were kind enough to take control of my LinkedIn and polish the whole thing and add the necessary things. So once I had the LinkedIn and once I had the right resume, I started to apply and I applied at uh, different jobs. I was already applying, right? But I wasn't getting the results that I was looking for. And then I remember within when was it? I think it was within a week of publishing all of that. I managed to get my first review. I mean, first interview, sorry. And yeah, just it was amazing how effective it was because we went over the fact that how resumes are looked at first by AIs and how it's hard to even get your resume into the hand of a human for them to look at it. So that was the biggest thing, right? Because my resume wasn't getting overlooked anymore, and I like I said, within a week I got the first interview. Before working with you, I did get an interview, and I made it to the last step and everything, but it was just one interview. I wasn't getting anything else. But like I said, after speaking with you, um, when it comes to in-person interviews, I went for one, two, yeah, I went for like three interviews, and then when it comes to phone interviews, it was more on the side of five. So again, for my industry and for the way that the market is and everything, I was very happy with that because I was actively applying, um, but at the same time, I wasn't applying just for anything. I had three companies in mind, and I was specifically applying for for the store manager position. So
Right.
based off the fact that it was the one position I was going for, and it was only two companies, I was really happy with the results.
Nice. And so can you share more about what you were able to land in the end? So that was kind
Yeah.
of your before and after. Could you
Yes. Yeah.
share some of the details on that?
Yeah, sure. So the job that I managed to land, and I'm so grateful and happy for, pretty much it's a promotion. So because that was the biggest thing for me, I didn't want to do a lateral move. I wanted to make sure that it's going to be a promotion. So it's a promotion, double the pay, uh, six figure, and the compensation and everything is just it's a lot better. It's a win 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 win. So
Yeah.
in all aspects, and it's with the it's with a huge retail company, leading company. So because for me the number one thing, and I used to always mention that to Danielle, was the, you know, I was always proud of my fast progression. Progression is the number one thing for me in my career. It's very important to have the right career development, and you know, to be able to, you know, join a company that has that for me to that has that to offer to me was the most important thing. So I I couldn't be happier with that.
I mean, those are life-changing, career-changing results, right? To actually get a
Yeah,
promotion, get double the compensation that you were at before, right? Like,
yeah,
congratulations. You did the work, of course, right? But I
yeah.
feel like, we were able to package up your amazing experience in a way that was allowed you to gain traction finally,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And
yes.
so I couldn't be, happier for you about that. And I also would love if you could share a little bit about what it was like to make an investment, like you did, in the program, considering it was a significant investment for the level
Mhm.
of compensation that you were at the time. So can you share a bit about, what kind of made you decide to do something like that and what that was like?
Definitely. So you know, Daniela was kind enough to offer a free session at the beginning. So we had a session that we went over the things, the goals, and everything. And after the session, I remember immediately I went through and wanted to hire her. I didn't even have to think about it because you know, she gave me the assurance. Uh, for me, I'm very huge on um, you know, the feeling that I would get from somebody. And after talking to her, and after obviously, you know, I looked at her results too. Like I'm very result driven myself, so like if someone has the results to back up what they claim, it's over for me. Pretty much, that's all I need to know. So like seeing all of that and her great personality and how caring she was. Um, it made me want to do that. And I remember when I first broke the news to some of my friends, they thought I'm crazy. They thought, oh my God, I overpaid. It's too much. Why did I do that? Uh, but, you know, in general, in life, I don't know. Whenever I took a risk, it paid out. right? You gotta take risks sometimes, and especially it's about how bad you want something to, right? So I wanted this badly. I wanted to make this change. So as much as I was pushing for it, as much as I was doing anything that was within my control, at the same time, I needed to have the right support and resources too. And Danielle was definitely one of the things for me that really helped me get there. And different people might have different needs and what they look for in a coach. For me, like I said, the biggest thing was for someone to help me present myself better in a more in a way that it's more it's easier for recruiters or the companies to see the true value in me, because for me, like, once I would get into the interview stage, like, I could speak about my experiences and everything, and I had the results to show for it too. But for me, it was just getting there and getting those interviews, and that's the step that I needed the help with the most. And like I said, working with her, it was it just right away the results came out. It took a week for the first interview to come out, and then after that, obviously there were some ups and downs. There were moments and times that I wasn't getting as many interviews. I had to deal with some disappointment, but kept going, kept pushing, didn't give up. Tried different revenues. I never just try to hold on to one thing and one thing only. I always had multiple things going on for me at the same time, because I always believe that until the actual time that I'm gonna sign that contract, I'm not gonna stop, right? And that was a mentality that I had, and uh, yeah,
Yeah, that's so important, right? Because even when you were getting close to the finish line with the opportunity that you took in the end, you still
yeah,
kept in the game until everything was signed,
mm,
sealed, and delivered, right? And that's so
yeah,
important because
yeah,
we never know at any point in negotiations,
mhm,
somebody could decide to walk away, right? So you just stayed in the game until you had that finalized. And
yes,
I commend you for that because that could be hard to do. Yeah.
it is, it is, and the most important thing, the biggest lesson that I learned from all of this, because um, it's almost like you grow as a person. Honestly, that's the best way I can describe it. Is that don't take anything personal, and at the same time understand that you're not alone in this. There's a lot of people that are trying to go for the same thing. So you have to make sure that you're going to be consistent. You're going to be there, and also, like, the biggest thing I learned is just learn from the interviews and the past experiences too, right? Like, you don't want to repeat the same thing and then expect a different result, right? So those are the biggest things I learned. And just with my mentality and in my head, I always had it in me that you know no matter what, there's no way that it's not going to happen. I had that positivity because once you put in this much effort, once you have all the sides covered, there's no reason that things should not work out. It's just a matter of time, and I always had that belief. I always knew that it's a matter of time. It's not a matter of whether it's going to happen or not.
Yeah, you definitely stayed in the game,
Yeah,
um, and put in the work. This is one of those things. I don't do everything for you. I'm there to guide and support and coach you, but
yeah,
ultimately, people have to do the work, and you certainly did that in spades. And
yeah, definitely.
yeah, definitely so deserving of this amazing outcome. Is there anything else that you would like to add that you would like for people to know?
No, no, really, it's just like I said. I just don't want anybody to give up. Just have to continue and don't stick to just one thing. If you're not getting the results on your own, don't be afraid to reach for resources, whether it's a Danielle, whether it's a friend, whether it's a connection that you have. Networking is important, right? So, like, you know I started to network and make connections with the people that were already in the companies that I wanted to be at. So I had that proactive approach as if I'm already part of that company, as if they're my colleagues already, right? And it helps a lot. You'd be surprised how welcoming they're going to be to a person that has a proactive approach to things, to a person that's going to approach them and say, hey, like, I'm really interested in joining the company. Like, uh, what are the opportunities and all of that? Because they're so used to just going after people themselves and not people coming to them. So that's actually a huge advantage. It should never be looked at as, oh, like I'm gonna look like a weird person, or I'm gonna be laughed at. That's not the case at all. Like whenever I approach with with the right attitude and I added people or I started conversations with people, those were the things that I faced, and they were it was never a matter of are they going to accept me or not. It was more of, okay, like a lot of people, for example, they have LinkedIn's that are not even active. So like when you add them, for example, when you don't get an answer, it might be because they're not as active. Like I added people almost like a month ago and they just added me last week. So just these are the things that I think it's important. And it's important, honestly, it is important to stay optimistic, be positive, because as much as there are many people out there that are looking for jobs, there are not really as many people out there that do every single thing right. So if you're going to be that person that's going to cover all the angles and do everything the right way, you're in your own category pretty much. So that's
Yeah.
how you're going to stand up.
Exactly. That is how you stand out. You got to put yourself out there and not take it personally because, to your point, it's usually not about you, right? It's that
Oh,
maybe they're not so active on LinkedIn and all of that. So, yeah.
yeah.
So, you took a lot of risks, you took a lot of action, and I am just so excited for you. Like, you have an amazing, continued, very bright future ahead of you.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much for sharing your story. I know it's going to inspire a lot of people. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And I look forward to staying in touch with you and seeing how things go with your new role. I'm 100% certain you're going to do amazing.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all your support, all your help. It's so so glad that I worked with you, that I got to know you, and yeah, yeah, just excited about the future.